Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hari Bol. So on that nice note, let's get started with the class with a brief prayer to the special master. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjan Shalakya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. All right, what verse for today?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. What is the verse for today?
Wait a minute. What a note.
9:21.
9:21, correct. Okay, so let's look at chapter 9 and we will do our regular thing. So we have Varshana, Jyoti, Subhodhni, Satapa, and Vindyavali. Mataji, and I'm going to start sharing my screen. Let me know when you can see that. So most confidential knowledge here to be shared, and then we also share the reading order as soon as I can find the reading order. Okay.
How come I put mark at 9:40?
All right. So reading order, Varshana, we'll read two verses each from the translation of chapter 9. Okay, let's get going.
Hare Krishna, chapter 9, text 1. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, My dear Arjuna, because you are never envious of me, I shall impart to you this most confidential knowledge and realization, knowing which you shall be relieved of miseries of material existence. Text 2. This knowledge is the king of education, the most secret of all secrets. It is the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perception of the self by realization, it is the perfection of religion. It is everlasting and it is joyfully performed. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Ji. Those who are not faithful in this devotional service cannot attain me, O conqueror of enemies. Therefore, they return to the path of birth and death in this material world. By me, in my unmanifested form, the entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. Hare Krishna Ji.
Hare Krishna. Text 5. And yet everything that is created does not rest in me. Behold my mystic opulence. Although I am the maintainer, although I am the maintainer of all living entities, and although I am everywhere, I am not a part of this cosmic manifestation. For myself is the very source of creation. Understand that as the mighty wind blowing everywhere rests always in the sky, all created beings rest in me. Sutapa Mataji.
Where is it? I'm not able to see this.
O son of Kunti, at the end of the millennium, all material manifestations entered into my nature, and at the beginning of another millennium, by my potency, I create them again. The whole cosmic order is under me. Under my will, it is automatically manifested again and again, and under my will, it is annihilated at the end.
O Dhananjaya, all this work cannot bind me. I am ever detached from all these material activities, seated as though neutral. This material nature, which is one of my energies, is working under my direction, O son of Kunti, producing all moving and non-moving beings. Under its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again.
Hare Krishna.
Let me scroll it.
Fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature as the Supreme Lord of all that be. Text 12. Those who are thus bewildered are attracted by demonic and atheistic views In that deluded condition, their hopes for liberation, their fruitive activities, and their culture of knowledge are all defeated. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna ji. O son of Pritha, those who are not deluded, the great souls, are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. Always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me, these great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. Hare Krishna ji.
Hare Krishna. Text 15. Others who engage in sacrifice by the cultivation of knowledge worship the Supreme Lord as the one without a second, as diverse in many and in the universal form. Text 16. But it is I who am the ritual, I the sacrifice, the offering to the ancestors, the healing herb, the transcendental chant. I am the butter and the fire and the offering. Sutapa Mataji.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. I was reading on it. I am the father of this universe, the mother, the support, and the grandsire. I am the object of knowledge, the purifier, and the syllable Om. I am also the Rig, the Shama, and the Yaju Vedas. I am the goal, the sustainer, the master, the witness, the abode, the refuge, and the most dear friend. I am the creation and the annihilation, the basis of everything, the resting place, and the
What
eternal
क्या हो गया?
seat.
O Arjuna, I give heat and I withhold and send forth the rain. I am immortality and I am also death personified. Both spirit and matter are in me. Those who study the Vedas and drink the Soma juice, seeking the heavenly planets, worship me indirectly. Purified of sinful reactions, they take birth on the pious heavenly planet of Indra, where they enjoy godly delights. Hare Krishna.
When they have
Hare Krishna Mataji.
sorry.
Sukomal Mataji has come, so
Yeah, she has me on the list. Yeah. Thank you. When they have thus enjoyed vast heavenly sense pleasure and the results of their pious activities are exhausted, they return to this mortal planet again. Those who seek sense enjoyment by adhering to the principles of the three Vedas achieve only repeated birth and death. But those who always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have.
Hare Krishna. Those who are devotees of other gods and who worship them with faith actually worship only me, O son of Kunti, but they do so in a wrong way. Text 24. I am the only enjoyer and the master of all sacrifices. Therefore, those who do not recognize my true transcendental nature fall down. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna ji, text 25. Those who worship the demigods will take birth among demigods. Those who worship the ancestors go to ancestors. Those who worship ghosts and spirits will take birth among such beings. And those who worship me will live with me. If one offers me with love and devotion, a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water, I will accept it. Hare Krishna ji.
Hare Krishna, text 27. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me. In this way, you will be freed from bondage to work and its auspicious and inauspicious results, with your mind fixed on me in this principle of renunciation. You will be liberated and come to me. Hare Krishna.
I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I am equal to all, but whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also a friend to him. Even if one commits the most abominable action, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated in his determination.
Okay. He quickly becomes righteous and attains lasting peace. O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. O son of Prita, those who take shelter in me, though they be of lower birth, women, Vaisas, merchants, and Sudras workers, can attain the supreme destination. Hare Krishna.
How much more this is of the righteous Brahmanas, the devotees, and the saintly kings. Therefore, having come to this temporary miserable world, engage in loving service unto me. Engage your mind always in thinking of me, become my devotee, offer obeisances to me, and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me.
Thank you. So, Kirtimala, I think you are not in a position to read, right? Is that right?
Yeah, she said that.
Okay. Anyway, I can't see the messages. Okay, that's good. I just wanted to make sure that we didn't miss out. But Aruni did join us. Aruni, are you in a position to read today?
No, Mataji, I can't read today.
Okay. So then we will continue with our reading order that we have been using. Okay. So, so anything that stuck from what we read so far?
Who is absorbed in Krishna, he goes to Krishna.
Good. Good. Yeah. Good takeaway. Anything else? Okay. If not, then, go ahead. Who
The 30.
Yes,
Even if
yes.
one commits the most abominable action, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated in his determination.
Right. What did you like about that?
Though even the person commits that abominable action, he does it, but still, if he is engaged in devotional service, so he, like, if he engaged in devotional service, so that he is to be actually saint because he is properly with determination he is situated that service. That's
Right.
all.
Right. So thing to note over here is that devotional service. So why are they saying if a person committed abominable act, this means that he has become corrupted somewhere, something has gone, right?
Yeah.
And but then this verse is saying that you should consider him to be properly situated, and we should not start casting, our verdict on them. Why? Because they are engaged in devotional service, and devotional service is purifying. So it will purify you. Right?
Yeah.
And based on that. Okay, good. Anything else? Anybody else would like to share? If not, then we can go and do our prayers of Queen Kunti. Let me bring it up here momentarily. I'll bring it from a different document and we can go through that. Here we go. All right, who was next to read?
Varsha Mata.
Yes, Mataji.
Ashana. Okay, so then two each is how we are doing it.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Text 18, Srimati Kunti said, O Krishna, I offer my obeisances unto you because you are the original personality and are unaffected by the qualities of the material world. You are existing both within and without everything, yet you are invisible to all. Text 19, Being beyond the range of limited sense perception, you are the eternally irreproachable factor covered by the curtain of diluted energy. You are invisible to the foolish observer, exactly as an actor dressed as a player is not recognized.
Hare Krishna Ji. You yourself descend to propagate the transcendental service of devotional service unto the hearts of advanced transcendentalists and mental speculators who are purified by being able to discriminate between matter and spirit. How then can we, woman, know you perfectly? Text 21. Let me therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto the Lord, who has become the son of Vasudev, treasure of Devaki, the boy of Nand, and the other cowherd men of Vrindavan, and the enlivener of cows and the senses. Hare Krishna Ji.
So in text number 20, where he's Kunti Maharani is saying that you yourself descend to propagate the transcendental sign of devotional service. Where does Krishna say that? Where in Bhagavad-gita does he say that?
Chapter 4, Mother.
Yeah, give me the verse.
I think 4.9.
What does it say? Give me the verse. No, not the verse number. Give me the verse. Give me the essence of the verse.
Yada yada hi dharmasya.
Yada
Yeah,
yada.
yada. I was waiting for that, right? That
Yeah.
he's saying yada yada hi dharmasya glanir
Glani bhavati bharata abhyudanam dharmasya.
tadatmanam sajamiham, right? Okay.
Mm.
All right. So let's continue with text number 22. Who's next?
Me, Hare Krishna. My respectful obeisances are unto you, O Lord, whose abdomen is marked with a depression like a lotus flower, who are always decorated with garlands of lotus flowers, whose glance is as cool as the lotus, and whose feet are engraved with lotuses. Text 23. O Rishikesha, master of the senses and lord of lords, you have released your mother Devki, who was long imprisoned and distressed by the envious king Kamsa, and me and my children from a series of constant dangers.
Text 24. My dear Krishna, your lordship has protected us from a poisoned cake, from a great fire, from cannibals, from the vicious assembly, from sufferings during our exile in the forest, and from the battle where great generals fought. And now you have saved from the weapon of Ashwatthama. Mataji, can you please go? Thank
Yeah,
you.
I'm just going to scroll. Hold on. Let me scroll all the way up.
I wish that all those calamities would happen again and again, so that we could see you again and again. For seeing you means that we will no longer see repeated births and deaths.
My lord, your lordship can easily be approached, but only by those who are materially exhausted. One who is on the path of material progress, trying to improve himself with respectable parentage, great opulence, high education, and bodily beauty cannot approach you with sincere feeling. My obeisances are unto you, who are the property of the materially impoverished. You have nothing to do with the actions and reactions of the material modes of nature. You are self satisfied, and therefore you are the most gentle and are master of the monis. Hare Krishna.
My lord, I consider your lordship to be eternal time, the supreme controller without beginning and end, the all-pervasive one. In distributing your mercy, you are equal to everyone. The dissensions between living beings are due to social intercourse. O Lord, no one can understand your transcendental pastimes, which appear to be human and so are misleading. You have no specific object of favor, nor do you have any object of envy. People only imagine that you are partial.
Hare
Varshan.
Krishna. Text 30. Of course, it is bewildering, O soul of universe, that you work though you are inactive, and that you take birth though you are the vital force and the unborn. You yourself descend amongst animals, men, sages, and aquatics. Verily, this is bewildering. Text 31. My dear Krishna, Yashoda took up the rope to bind you when you committed an offense, and your perturbed eyes overflooded with tears, which washed the mascara from your eyes, and you were afraid, though fear personified is afraid of you. This sight is bewildering to me. Hare Krishna. Text 32.
Text 30, Hare Krishna ji, text 32. Some says that unborn is born for the glorification of wise kings, and other says that he is born to please King Yadu, one of your dearest devotee. You appear in his family as sandalwood appears in Malaya hills. Mataji scroll kar dijiye. Text 33. Others says that since both Vasudev and Devaki prayed for you, you have taken your birth as their son. Undoubtedly, you are unborn. Yet you take your birth for their welfare and to kill those who are envious of the demigods. Hare Krishna ji.
Text 34. Others say that the world, being overburdened like a boat at sea, is much aggrieved, and that Brahma, who is your son, prayed for you, and so you have appeared to diminish the trouble. Text 35. And yet others say that you appeared for the sake of rejuvenating the devotional service of hearing, remembering, worshipping, and so on, in order that the conditioned soul suffering from material pangs might take advantage and gain liberation.
O Krishna, those who continuously hear, chant, and repeat your transcendental activities or take pleasure in others doing so certainly see your lotus feet, which alone can stop the repetition of birth and death. O my Lord, you have executed all duties yourself. Are you leaving us today, though are you leaving us today, though we are completely dependent on your mercy and have no one else to protect us, now when all kings are at enmity with us?
As the name and fame of a particular body is finished with the disappearance of the living spirit, similarly, if you do not look upon us, all your fame and activities, along with the Pandavas and Yadus, will end at once. O Gadadhara Krishna, our kingdom is now being marked by the impressions of your feet, and therefore it appears beautiful. But when you leave, it will no longer be so. Hare Krishna.
All these cities and villages are flourishing in all respects because the herbs and grains are in abundance, the trees are full of fruits, the rivers are flowing, the hills are full of minerals, and the oceans full of wealth. And this is all due to your glancing over them. O Lord of the universe, soul of the universe, O personality of the form of the universe, please therefore sever my tie for affection for my kinsman, the Pandavas and the Vrishnis.
Hare Krishna, text 42. O Lord of Madhu, as the Ganges forever flows to the sea without hindrance, let my affection be constantly drawn unto you without being diverted to anyone else. Text 43. O Krishna, O friend of Arjuna, O chief amongst the descendants of Vrishni, you are the destroyer of those political parties which are disturbing elements on the earth. Your prowess never deteriorates. You are the proprietor of the transcendental abode, and you descend to relieve the distresses of the cows, the brahmanas, and the devotees. You possess all mystic powers, and you are the preceptor of the entire universe. You are the Almighty God, and I offer you my respectful obeisances. Hare Krishna.
Who will read the last verse?
Jyoti Mataji.
Hare Krishna Ji. Sut Goswami said, the Lord, thus hearing the prayers of Kunti Devi, composed in choice words of his glorification, mildly smiled. The smile was as enchanting as his mystic power. Hare Krishna Ji.
Haribo. Okay, any reflections on prayers of Kunti?
Mataji, in I think 38 verse says कि when the glory and name finishes, when this spirit leaves the body. And since you are leaving us, that your glory and name will leave the us, Kunti saying, and something like that. The second part is, can you just
Right.
explain?
Yeah, so we have to understand that in the context of verse number 37, where and also understand the context of Queen Kunti's prayers, right? So after the Mahabharata war is over, then Krishna stayed for some time, and then he is departing to go back to Dwarka because he had left his parents, his wives, everybody was in Dwarka. He had come to Kurukshetra for the war and Hastinapur. And after the war, Yudhishthira was feeling very sad, so he asked Krishna to stay for a little while longer. So then after that, one day he prepares to leave. And as he's leaving to go back to Dwarka, Queen Kunti is offering these prayers. Okay, so that is the context. And so now after glorifying and talking and explaining about how and why he takes birth and all that, then in 37, she's saying that, are you leaving us today? Because we are completely dependent on your mercy. And she's also saying there's nobody that who can protect us, right? Especially now when all the kings are at enmity with us, because the Pandavas had conquered all the kings, right? So they didn't like being defeated. So they have that thing still inside their heart that, somebody came on top of us like that. So now so she says that, are you leaving us? So that grief is there in her. And then she's explaining that what's going to happen to them, the Pandavas, after Krishna leaves Hastinapur and goes back to Dwarka. So she's drawing a comparison here. And just she's saying that if there's a body, for example, the king of a country or president of a country like that, right? So people will know him, they will, respect him, and, he's like the powerful guy. But then when he dies, right, when the soul leaves the body, then, nobody bothers about that. I mean, even the dear family members, they want to get rid of the dead body. They don't keep the dead body like, oh, this was my father, let me keep the body here, right? Nobody does that. So as soon as the soul leaves the body, actually the name of the fame is diminished. So now what she's saying is that, Krishna, you are our soul. You are the soul of the Pandavas. So if you are going to leave and go, then our name and fame is going to be diminished because they were known, they were protected. In the previous verses, she talks about, how Krishna offered them protection in so many places. So here she's just drawing a comparison, and she's saying that just as, the name of fame of a particular body is finished when the soul leaves the body, similarly, like if you are not there here, if you leave and you're not there to look on us, then, all our fame of the Pandavas is also going to come to an end. And which we also see later on not later on, actually before that, because Srimad Bhagavatam is not sequential. We also hear about that when Krishna left this planet. So Arjuna was there, and on the way back, Arjuna was bringing the 16,000 wives of Krishna to Hastinapur, and the wives some people attacked, and Arjuna was not able to defend, because all the power that Arjuna had was because of Krishna, like that, right? So here also she's saying, much before that, that our name and fame is going to go away if you are not there together with us. Does that help you, Jyoti Mataji?
I was just thinking, even if Krishna is not there, I must say his mercy will always be with us.
Yes, his mercy will definitely be there, in as much as even if we don't see Krishna, his mercy is on us, right? But the devotees always have this longing and the desire to meet Krishna.
Desire. That
Right?
was, she was expressing her desire, actually.
Desire.
That's
And
what
Yes.
text 36 says, Mataji.
Ji.
You are constantly here, chant and repeat your transcendental activities and take pleasure in others doing so. Certainly see your lotus feet, which alone can stop the repetition of birth and death. So keep constantly chanting and hearing.
Yeah, but in the context of what Jyoti Mataji is asking, I would not fit that verse number 36, because verse number 36 is talking about the operation. That
Yeah.
if you chant the names of the Lord, then you will see Krishna ultimately, right? But here, Krishna was already there in front of Kunti, right? And then he's leaving. He's leaving. So although we do know that Krishna's mercy will still be there from Dwarka while he's in Dwarka, but we miss him, right? Like just as you go to the temple, you see the deities at the temple, right? When you're coming back home, you miss. You don't want to leave, right? Or you don't go to the temple for a very long time, you start missing the deities.
Yeah.
But isn't Krishna's mercy there? Isn't Krishna in your heart, right? So Krishna is there. Antar bahira vasitam. She says that in the beginning as well, right? But yeah.
Actually, she somehow wants to stop him by saying this, that your fame and activities
Right.
along with Pandavas will end. Actually, it
She's
is
not
not
talking,
so, but
she's not,
her desire that he should be there with
yeah,
them.
her desire is there, and she's not talking that Krishna's name and fame will end. She's talking about
No, her
their
fame.
fame. Yeah, yeah,
Fame.
just wanted to clarify. Yeah, just wanted to clarify that. Yeah. Okay.
What is
anything
the
else?
42, Mataji? Can I see the 42? Ganges, the
This was
Ganges
also very
forever
good. I
flows.
was thinking
See,
about it.
with a
That
hindrance. Mhm.
our devotion should be directly flow to the God
Yeah.
without diverting here and there.
Right, right. Tasmad ekena manasa bhagwan satvatam patihi
I marked 31 and 33 also.
Yeah, let me finish, Mataji. So, tasmat ekena manasa bhagwan satvatam patihi shrotavya kirtitavyascha dheya pujasya nitida. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, second chapter, it says that those who are devotees of the Lord, ekena manasa, with single pointed attention, and that is what they will hear and chant the names of the Lord, and which is where the verse 36 that Vrindyavali Mataji was quoting comes in. And here, similar sentiment she's saying, but she's giving such a nice simile that when the Ganges leaves the Himalayas, she has only one goal in her mind, to go and meet the Indian Ocean, right, or Bay of Bengal. And she goes there there will be hindrances, but she will sidestep them, and then ultimately somehow she will reach the Bay of Bengal. So just as she reaches her destination with one focus on the ocean, similarly, I should be focusing on my destination, which is to reach Krishna. That should be the way I think. But then, of course, this is Kali Yuga. Minds are always disturbed. We think of this, that, and others there. Anything else?
Mataji, can I see 31 and 33?
31.
31 and 33. Yeah, my dear Krishna, Yasoda took upon see, to bind you when you committed offense, and your perturbed eyes overflowed with tears, and mascara, your eyes, and you were afraid, though fear personified is afraid of you. The sight is bewildering to me. So fear is personifies to afraid of him, but he looks like he's afraid.
Yeah, of Yashoda.
That was 33. What is that? 33. Can I see 33, Mataji? Others say that since both Yasoda and Devaki prayed for you, you have taken your birth as their son. Undoubtedly, you are unborn, yet to take your birth for their welfare and to kill those who are envious of the demigods. It is also good. Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to the verse for today. Nice reflections. And what is the verse again?
21.
21.
9.21. Okay, correct, for 500 points. Okay, so let's bring in 9.21. And before we go to 9.21, I just wanted to set the context again a little bit because we have been reading a series of verses which are linked to each other. So we were talking about, and we said that, yes, last time when I talked about the spectrum, right? And I saw a spectrum of different kinds of people. And at one end of the spectrum, there were those fools who think that when Krishna comes here to this, when Krishna was there on 5,000 years walking this planet, that it was Krishna was in the material body, right? So he says those are, right? Avajananti mamura manushim tamam ashritam param bhamam ajananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. So they do not understand that I am the Supreme, right? And then what happens to them? Then he says that those who are thus bewildered are attracted by demonic and atheistic views. And in that condition, whatever hopes they had for liberation or karma-kandiri activities, fruitive activities, or they want to do gyan-kand, all of them are completely defeated, right? So that was one end at the spectrum. And then on the other end of the spectrum, he was talking about that those who are not deluded, the great soul, like these are the good devotees, they fully engage in devotional service because they know him that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. In contrast to the fools that he's talking about in text 11, they do not know my transcendental nature as the Supreme Lord of all that be, right? And then what do they do? For these people, all their efforts were gone to null, right? What happens to these Mahatmas who are on the other end of the line, right? They are always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me. These great souls perpetually worship me with devotion, right? And then what does Queen Kunti say in the prayers that you read just now? What did Queen Kunti say about these people who are chanting? Who are chanting his names and glories?
Whoever chants and chanting or hearing the glories,
Never take birth again and see the lotus
Yeah.
feet of Krishna.
They will reach to back to him.
yeah.
Mataji,
Mataji,
you
we
are on
cannot.
mute.
No voice.
You're on mute.
Yes.
Oh, I went on mute. Okay. So what was the last thing I said? That's a good question.
I said that whoever
No,
is chanting,
no. I was not on. I was here able to hear you. I was asking you that what was the last thing that I said.
We didn't hear. Oh, you said everyone's answers about what Queen Kunti was saying.
Yeah.
After that,
Then you didn't say anything. We didn't hear.
No.
Right? We didn't hear
We didn't hear
anything.
anything later on. So that's why I was telling that.
no, but I was asking this. Okay, good. I was asking this question that where does Queen Kunti also say somewhere, always chanting my glories, endeavoring my protection. So I was talking about, did you hear about the spectrum that I said? On one
Yes.
end, right? And on
Yes,
the other hand, I was
spectrum we
going to,
heard.
yeah. And
We
on the
heard
other,
the question also,
yes.
But after that, what you said, we didn't hear.
Okay. So I was saying and then somebody said, like you and Subodhini, I think
We
said that.
answered also a few
Yeah,
things.
you answered also,
please.
right? Yeah. So I was just saying that yes, she says that in that text where Shrinvanti Gayanti Ghinanti Abhikshna Saha Smaranti Nandanti Tave Hitam Janaha Taeva Paschanti Achirena Tavakam Bhava Prabhaho Paramam Padambujam. So Taeva Paschanti Achirena Tavakam. So in a very short time, they will see. Achiren means very quickly they will see his lotus feet, right? And that is his lotus feet as the one that will take us out of this cycle of and repetition of birth and death, right? So she says that. Okay, so this was the other end of the spectrum. And then we have also got some more where he was talking about, hold on, some more people. Actually, it was before that, yeah. Let me look at that. Let me look at the Sanskrit for that. I'm not very comfortable with English part. Okay. But 4 type. Ekatvena prithaktvena bahuda vishvatomukam. That verse I'm looking for. Satatam jnana yagena chapyanne. Yeah, this one, text 15. So jnana yagena chapyanne yajanto mam upasate ekatvena prithaktvena bahuda vishvatomukam. Right? And in between, so there was 2 ends, right? One who think that Krishna is a human being like us, and he just has got some yogic powers, and because of that, he's able to accomplish the feat. And on the other end, we have the other end of the spectrum, we have got these Mahatmas, right? Who are satatam kirtayantuman. They're constantly engaged in devotional service. Now, in between, we have got jnana yagena chapyanne jajanto mam upasate. Ekatvena prathaktena bahuda vishvatomikam, right? So in between, there are these 3 varieties that he's talking about, and I'll bring this up so that you can read the English there. So he's saying others who engage in sacrifice by cultivation of knowledge, right? The worship of Supreme Lord as the one without a second, as diverse in many and in the universal form, right? So jnana yagena, through trying to get the knowledge of Krishna, and they will ultimately be leaded to the Brahma Jyoti, where they will see Krishna as a light only. They will not see the body of Krishna, which is behind that effulgence, which is the Brahma Jyoti, right? So that is one set of people. And then he says, worship the Supreme Lord as the one without a second. One without a second means there is no second, there is only one, which is ek, right? So ekatvena. So they think that there is only one God, and I'm also God, right? So they see that thing. And prithaktvena. So, and then sometimes they will say that, okay, Krishna is diverse. Krishna is there, but he's all over the place. So they are the ones who will worship the universal form of the Lord. Okay? And then ekatvena prithaktvena bahuda vishvatomukam. Bahuda is many, right? So then there are some people who will also go and worship the demigods. So when they are looking at vishvatamukham, when they're looking at the universal form of the Lord, which is what? I'm going to look at the, the planets, and I'll say, this is this part of Krishna's body. I will look at the rivers, mountains, I'll say rivers are his veins. And like that, the whole cosmic manifestation, I will see that whole thing as Krishna, right? And the sun is there, so sun is Krishna. Moon is there, moon is Krishna, like that, they'll say. But then after looking at this universal form of the Lord, they will also realize that something is happening there. The sun is rising every day, setting at the same time, rising at a predicted time, like that, and never stops. So they will then realize that there must be something that is controlling. And then they will say, okay, this is God. Right? So then who are the ones who control the sun, the movements of the moon? It is not God who controls that. It is the demigods or the devtas, right? So God is Bhagwan and demigods are the devtas. So they control the movement of the sun and moon. So they will be worshipping the demigods, right? So today's verse that we have is talking about demigod worshippers, right? And they do that in a very interesting way, right? So before I go to 21, I will also like to bring up 20, which we talked about last week. And last week was Trayī-dharmam soma paputa papa yadgeriштva svarga-lokaṁ prarthayante te puṇye surendra-lokam ashnanti divyan divideva bhogan. So what they said was that those who study the Vedas and Trayī-vidya, right? Trayī-vidya means the 3 Vedas. They read that and drink the soma juice, seeking the heavenly planets. So they have a desire to go to the heavenly planets. Worship me indirectly. Purified of sinful reactions, they take birth on the pious heavenly planet of Indra, where they enjoy godly delights. Godly with a small g, right? So devta wala sukh milega, right? Not the one that you get when you go to Krishna. It's still on the material plane. There's happiness that you get. Now, I wanted to bring to your attention that when we go to Bhagavad-gita, in the beginning parts of Bhagavad-gita, chapter number 2, right? So what is chapter number 1 all about?
Confidential knowledge.
Chapter number 1?
Observing
No, not chapter Vishal.
observing this
Observing the armies.
yes,
Yeah, observing the
observing
army is the name, but
Vishad
what is
yoga.
exactly happening in chapter
Vishad
1?
yoga.
Vishad yoga. Yeah, so what is happening? What is Vishad?
Dukha.
Dukh, yeah, distress, right? It is distress. So in chapter 1, we hear about Arjuna's distress, right? And then after hearing about Arjuna's distress, his eyes, he started crying. His mind was depressed. His eyes were full of tears. And then Krishna speaks those words, right? And I'm going to bring in text number 2 over here to highlight what does Krishna say. So Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Kutasva Kashmalamidam Vishame Sam Upastitam Anarijustam Asargayam Akirti Karam Arjuna. So here he's saying, my dear Arjuna, how have these impurities come upon you? They are not at all befitting a man who knows the value of life. They lead not to higher planets, but to infamy. Okay, so in those days, for the Kshatriyas, it was a very well-known thing that the Kshatriyas would either they would fight because they had that fighting spirit in them. So they would fight, and as a result of the fight, there can be 2 consequences of the fight. You could win the fight or you could lose the fight, right? If you won the fight, then you will be still here, you will be alive, and you will enjoy the spoils of the war, right? However, if you died, then what happens, right? And we saw just now in prayers of Kunti where she says that, just when as the soul leaves the body, then the name and the fame are all gone, right? So the Kshatriya fighting very valiantly and gallantly in a fight. If he gets killed in the fight, what happens to him? So there's good news for the Kshatriyas, and they were very much gung-ho about that. Is that that is that when a Kshatriya goes to the when a Kshatriya dies in the battlefield, then he goes to the higher planets, and that is why Krishna is talking about they lead not to higher planets, right? And then Krishna goes and explains, and Arjuna again in this chapter goes on and says, surrenders, right? The famous verse, right? He says, Shishchasteham shadi mam tvam prapannam, right? And then I do not know what to do. I do not care to live. Now I am confused about my duty. I have lost all composure because of miserly weakness, because I'm just thinking about myself, me, my family, and all that. And I am now asking you, dear Krishna, to tell me for certain what is best for me. I am now your disciple and a soul surrendered unto me. Right? And then in text 8, what is he saying? He's saying, I can find no means to drive away this grief which is drying up my senses. I will not be able to dispel it even if I win a prosperous, unrivaled kingdom on earth, like if he wins the war, or with sovereignty like the demigods in heaven. So when they win the war of Mahabharata, they would become the kings of this entire world, right? So they will be almost like demigods. So this is something that people really liked to have, and we also like to have that. We like to have opulence. We like to go to higher planets, right? And then further down, if we go to verse 32 in the 2nd chapter, Krishna is telling him, he's telling him that you fight. Consider your specific duty as a Kshatriya. He says that in the previous verse. You should know that there is no better engagement for you than fighting on religious principle, for there is no need for hesitation. So he's urging him to fight, right? And after he tells him everything about the soul, and the soul doesn't die. And then in text 32, he's saying, O Partha, happy are the Kshatriyas to whom such fighting opportunities come unsought. They did not want the war, right? But Duryodhana wanted it, so this opportunity came to them without their seeking it. and it opens for them the doors of the heavenly planet. So you see, there's so much of talk that goes on about heavenly planets. Of course, having told him here in chapter number 1 and 2, when all this is happening, Krishna, so the situation here is Arjun Vishad. Chapter number 1, Arjun Vishad happened. Like the main person in the army of the Pandavas is saying, I don't want to fight. How bad is that, right? All over the world, everybody has united to have this fight, and then one party says, I don't want to fight. So it's almost like, the bride and the bridegroom have come there and they are on the podium about to exchange the garlands, and one of them says, I don't want to get married. Yeah, it's almost like that. So how bad is that? So Krishna has to use all possible tactics to make Arjuna get up, because he has gone and he's sitting at the back of the chariot to get up and fight. So now he's luring him into so many things. And in this chapter, he's saying, come to the heavenly planet. If you fight, even if you die, you'll go to the heavenly planets. Heavenly planets, good, very good. And Arjuna also says, compares the heavenly planets there. But then after that, he's just telling about Karma Yoga, chapter 3, Jnana Yoga, chapter 4. Again, Karma Yoga, action in Krishna consciousness, this time, chapter 5. Dhyana Yoga, chapter 7, right? Talks about his own opulences, chapter 7, right? Like that. And 8 talks about how bad this material planet is. And in 9, he's giving him the most confidential knowledge. So even though you might see that Krishna here seems to be saying, okay, it's a good thing to go to heavenly planets. But in today's verse, he's saying, that's not a good idea, right? So in 9:20, we saw how do people get to the heavenly planets, right? One is that you are a Kshatriya, you fight and you die, you go there. But not everybody is a Kshatriya. Not everybody has got the guts to fight, right? And that opportunity to fight might not arrive. So then there are other people who, what they do, they will do the Vedas, they will perform the Yagyas, right? They will be worshipping the demigods. And what is the reason behind doing that? The reason behind doing that is they want to go to heavenly planets. They want to make sure that after death, they have a thing secured. They have got a ticket to where are you going to go after death? Well, I know where I'm going to go after the death. I have been worshipping Indra. I'm going to go to his planet, because Krishna says that, yeah, yanti devavata devan, pritrin yanti prativata, bhutani yanti bhuteja, yanti madhyajinopi mam. That those who worship the ancestors go to the planet of the ancestors, which is Pitris. And those who worship the Devtas will go to their planets. But those who worship me will come to my planet, right? So he says that. So they know that. So they want to go to the heavenly planets because they want to enjoy. The enjoyment here, whatever is afforded, given in the material world, in this middle planetary system that we are, is not enough, because they have heard that there's even better over there, right? So they are doing all this. They get elevated. So this is the elevation that is happening. This is not liberation. Liberation means you get out of this material world. You are nowhere in any of these 14 planetary systems, right? Chaudha Bhuvan. You know that you come out, you escape out of this material universe and you go to the transcendental universe, right? Just what they are doing is they are just being elevated from one story to a higher story. So just like in a apartment complex, there is a penthouse on the top. It is usually more expensive because you get the best view from there. So this going up to the heavenly planet is just like you're moving from your apartment on the ground floor, you're moving up to the penthouse where things are much better, right? But you're still in that same apartment complex. So today's verse is about that. So what do you do when you go over there? So it says, Tetam bhuktvā svarga-lokam viśālaṁ kṣīṇe puṇye martya-lokam viśanti evam trayī-dharmam anuprapannā gata-āgatam kāma-kāmā labhante Tetam bhuktvā svarga-lokam viśālam kṣīṇe puṇye martya-lokam viśanti evam trayī-dharmam anuprapannā gata-āgatam kāma-kāmā labhante. So what does it say? When they have thus enjoyed vast heavenly sense pleasure and the results of their pious activities are exhausted, they return to this mortal planet again. Thus, those who seek sense enjoyment by adhering to the principles of 3 Vedas achieve only repeated birth and death, right? Because once you go to the heavenly planets, you go and enjoy things over there, you're going to come back. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. One who is promoted to the higher planetary systems enjoys a longer duration of life and better facilities for sense enjoyment, yet one is not allowed to stay there forever. one is again sent back to this earth upon finishing the resultant fruits of pious activities. He who has not attained perfection of knowledge, as indicated in the Vedanta Sutra, Janmadi Asya Yatha, or in other words, he who fails to understand Krishna, the cause of all causes, becomes baffled without achieving the ultimate goal of life, and is thus subjected to the routine of being promoted to the higher planets, and then again coming down as if situated on a Ferris wheel, which sometimes goes up and sometimes comes down. The purport is that instead of being elevated to the spiritual world, from which there is no longer any possibility of coming down, one simply revolves in the cycle of birth and death on higher and lower planetary systems. One should better take to the spiritual world to enjoy an eternal life of bliss and knowledge and never return to this miserable material existence. Om Tat Sat.
Very nice explanation, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhupada ki jai. So, questions, comments, reflections?
The best part is that instead of being elevated to the spiritual world from which there is no longer any possibility of coming down,
Right.
one simply revolves in the cycle of birth and death on the
Right.
higher and the lower planetary system.
Right.
So once you go there, you are there. But in the heavenly planets, once your pious activities are exhausted, you have to come back and again get into the cycle of birth and death.
Right, right. And although people might say Devta Amar hai, right? We also see the Devtas and the demigods in 8th canto of Bhagavatam. They churn the ocean of milk, right? Ksīr Sagar. They churn that. And what were they trying to get? Why were they churning
Amrita.
the ocean? Amrita, right? They want to live forever. So because we are souls and we live forever, and here we see so much death, right? Of course, our death we might not see during our life, but we see other people's death, right? All the time through newspapers, through television, through people dying around you, near and dear ones, the accidents. You see that all the time, right? So it's like, oh, so there's death there. Let me get out of it. So if somebody's like, what are you doing here? Don't you see there's so much of that? You're blind. Let's go to the heavenly planets. Go to the to the planets of the Devtas. Because they have got nectar, right? They have taken Amrit. So Amrit, Amrit doesn't give you everlasting life. Oh, that's the bad news. Because when we were young, we all knew that Amrit is going to remove you from the birth and death cycle and make you live forever. No, Amrit will only give you a very long period of time. That's all. So if somebody says that you are blind, it's sticking to this material world, and because there's death over here, come with me or to the higher planets where there is no death. They are also blind because they don't know kṣīṇe puṇye martya-lokam. Kṣīṇe puṇye, when their credit is exhausted, right? They will come back. They will enjoy over there.
And we, Mataji, very happily we say when somebody dies, ये तो क्या स्वर्गवासी हो गया.
स्वर्गवासी हो गया, स्वर्ग सुधार गए. Yeah. But they are going to come down. Yeah. And that is why you notice that in ISKCON or in other places as well, we celebrate the death of devotees and saints, right? Because they have gone out of the cycle. We believe that they have gone out of the cycle of birth and death, right? So, and then we also did in chapter 8, you remember, we did the calculations for how long, 4.1 billion, 3 trillion, 4.11 billion years Brahma lives of our lifespan there, right? But they have to come back. That's the side part. So why are you doing this? Oh, back and back, again and again, punar charvata charvananam, chewing the cud, doing the same thing again and again, again and again, again and again. Don't do that. Try to get something. Try to get the Amrit. Try to get the nectar of the holy name of Krishna so that you chant his holy names. And that's the name that will deliver you from here.
One thing puzzles me.
What people are doing right now is just they are doing karmakandi activities. Karmakandi is you're doing something, you're not even worshipping Krishna, you're worshipping the demigods, but then even if they're worshipping the demigods, we are the Vedas, that they are indirectly worshipping Krishna. And then Krishna will say further in the chapter 9, it is avidhi purvakam. It is not the proper way to worship. Right? It's not the right way to do it. So we will rest here. And
Mataji, one thing puzzles me. See, we get of all the a lot of lives, we come to this human life.
Mhm.
That was very, very, very rare.
Yes.
But when we come to this human life, God has given us all kinds of knowledges and everything. We deviate from here, why we came and what we should do. That realization takes little longer time, Mataji. Unfortunately, I always think that human life, after so many pieces of the life, we get human life. It's very rare life we get.
Right.
But when we get this life, we're not able to keep it up.
Yes, and I'll tell you why. Okay?
Perfect
So
sense.
you have to first go to the origin of what are we doing here and why are we here?
Yeah.
Right? Why are we here? Why are we here? Answer that question. Why are you in this material world?
Due to our
though we have
desires?
other things to know, but we need to keep it lotus feet.
No.
That's
not the answer. That's not the answer to the question. My question I'm repeating is, why are we in this material world?
Because in all these
Karma.
Okay, everybody talked. I could not hear. Raise your hand so that I will.
Because of our karma and last desire.
What karma? Why did you come from the?
After all the beautiful things, we got this beautiful life.
No. Hear the question first. From the spiritual planets, why were you brought to the material planet?
Your karmas have exhausted.
No,
Good karma.
spiritual. Hear the question.
Because of the forgetfulness to Krishna.
Spiritual karma.
Yeah, you did not want to serve Krishna. That is the reason. Can you see my screen?
No.
We can see.
Okay. You did not want to serve Krishna. That is why you come to the material world, right? So you come to the material world. Okay. Now, when we come to the material world, I have heard Acharya say, as Brahma. We all start as Brahma. So we have got Brahma. We know the life of Brahma. We have got a nice long lifespan. And we are originally devotees of Krishna. So in that lifespan, you can go back to Godhead. One lifespan of Brahma, do it, get finished, go back. You can do that. But as Brahma, we get entangled and we want to enjoy. Okay? So then the thing is that we want to enjoy in this.
One should better take to the spiritual world.
Let me finish. Enjoy in this material world, right? So we continue to want to enjoy this, continue to want. Okay? Now, when you want to continue to want, so for example, you like, not you, but somebody likes to eat meat. Well, meat is available. You can go to Safeway, you can buy it and you can eat it. Okay? But I want to have more meat. It's not sufficient. And, when I put the piece in my mouth, I don't get the food. I want more pleasure for the flavors. I should get, it should be more flavor for me, like that, right? So then what happens is that from this human life form, you will get an animal body. Okay? An animal body suitable for you to enjoy whatever you wanted. You wanted to eat meat? Become a dog. You wanted to swim? You become a fish. You wanted to fly? You can become a bird. You want to become a beautiful bird? You can become a peacock, right? So this is how it will happen. So while you are in the body of an animal, there are no karmic reactions. So a dog will eat as much as there's no karmic reactions. Remember that. Karmic reactions are only there for human beings. So now after you have taken birth in how many? 84 lakh yoni, right? 84 yoni, sometimes up, sometimes down. So this up and down happens not only in the by way of planets, like not only geographically you go up and down, like from the earth you go to heaven, but you can also be going up and down within this cycle of within these species. You can go to a lower species, higher species. So once you come back from the species, remember, your desires have not completely gone. So desires are still there.
Yeah.
That is why after taking birth in human beings, we still do not take to devotional service. We still want to go there and trayī-dharmam soma paputa papa. We want to still enjoy. Now I want to enjoy women, wine. Okay, let's go to heaven. There are beautiful women and beautiful wine. Like that, right? Yeah. So that explains that. Okay.
Yeah, that's what always I think. This human body, we got it. And then after so many lives, we came to this body, reached this one. Right. So we should be going further up, not down. But
yeah, that is why Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings, Jane puche vish khainu.
Yeah.
Jaan puch ke tum zahar kha rahe ho. You are having poison. Yeah. Like that. Avidya
surprise, Mataji.
Kota nidra soya, Maya pisachira kole. Maya is like a witch and you are lying in her lap. Jeev jago.
Yeah, jeev jago.
Wake up, right? And wake up to the full truth. People can wake up to the truth that there is some God and I am God. They can wake up to the truth that God is all light. But then, even if you go and merge into that light, because you are wired to be a servant, you're wired to be doing service. Without that service, you'll get bored. You'll come back to this material planet again. And it will be a mercy of a devotee who will tell you, don't go after the light. Go after the Krishna who is behind that light. That light, the effulgence is Brahma Jyoti. It is coming from Krishna.
Yeah, Brahma Jyoti.
Try to go there. And that's when in each Upanishad we say that, please remove this dazzling effulgence. Because of this effulgence, Brahma Jyoti is so bright that you can't see Krishna behind. And you can see that Krishna behind only if you do devotional service to Krishna. And then he will take you to his planet, which is permanent planet. Okay, so on that...
I have another wish, Mataji. I want it to be a flower at the lotus feet of Lord. Is that okay?
Well, then
always I see the flower and
yes,
I want
you should transcendentalize your wish, and you can also wish to be a lotus flower at the lotus feet of Krishna in heavenly planet, in the transcendental planets, not heavenly. Heavenly is still here, right? And transcendental is beyond the material world. It is, so you can aim to that. However, it's not necessarily that your wish will be granted, that you will become a flower, because every soul already has got a spiritual shape, and that will be revealed to you as you progress in devotional service.
That's true.
Yeah. So on that happy note, I will call it a day. Thank you so much for participation. We had a recording.
Okay, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Shraddha
Krishna.
Mataji. Very enlightening.
Thank you, Mataji.